Game Week 6 Preview. Top transfers in. Alvarez, a man of the match performance in the Champions League, will help increase support for him. 2. Although having played 90 minutes, it may be worth keeping an eye for any last-minute team leaks. Botman, I do find the rush for the defense of a team who's kept 1 clean sheet in 5 league games. Those season a little odd. If you're going to go there, Botman is the cheapest nailed option at 4.5 meters. Mbumo, an odd one in that he's blanked 2 of the last 3 games. Nevertheless, nailed on penalties and a couple of solid fixtures at home coming up, including struggling Everton home this week. Salah's averaging 6 points a game, having not blanked all season. The only nailed Liverpool attacker has West Ham up next, with many already figuring out how to get the Egyptian king into their wildcard teams over the coming weeks. Salah's averaging 6 points a game, having not blanked all season. The only nailed Liverpool attacker has West Ham up next, with many already figuring out how to get the Egyptian king into their wildcard teams over the coming weeks. Top transfers out. Jackson, incredible amount of chances but just doesn't seem to be able to put the ball in the net. Also now 1 yellow card away from a ban after picking up 4 in his first 5 games. The upcoming fixtures aren't bad but difficult to justify keeping him. Jackson, incredible amount of chances but just doesn't seem to be able to put the ball in the net. Also now 1 yellow card away from a ban after picking up 4 in his first 5 games. The upcoming fixtures aren't bad but difficult to justify keeping him. Jackson is not the only one sitting precariously on for bookings, as Newcastle United's Anthony Gordon £5.5 million is also on the verge of a ban. Bruno Fernandes £8.4 million is a notable name on 3 cautions. Chilwell, Pochettino's comments suggested his benching might not be a one-time only change either. Nevertheless, had been one of Chelsea's most attacking players when he's played. An understandable transfer out, but could also be worth monitoring 1 more week. Isaac, having not played the last league game, and getting 90 minutes in the Champions League, could Wilson be the go-to Premier League striker for Newcastle, with Isaac used more for European fixtures? No return since Game Week 1 plus uncertainty over starting makes him a fair transfer out. Rashford, a slightly surprising one, having returned in 2 of the last 3 games, and with Burnley up next. However, Man United certainly haven't looked their best this season, and there are arguably better midfield options. Wouldn't necessarily be a priority transfer for me. Clean sheet odds. Manchester City host free-scoring Nottingham this week at the Etihad. However, Nottingham have scored in their last 12 Premiership games, last blanking on the 16th of April. Taiwo Awoniyi has made over 10 goal contributions in that time. Newcastle travel to Bramall Lane on the back of their impressive defensive shutout of Milan in midweek. Having kept to clean sheets in their last 2 competitive games, they'll be hoping to make it 3 in a row against lowly Sheffield. It is worth bearing in mind that Sheffield have scored in their last 4 games. Crystal Palace host Fulham at Selhurst Park, hoping to keep their 2nd clean sheet of the season following the opener at Sheffield. Fulham have had a mixed start, conceding 5 at Man City and 3 to Brentford at home, but also keeping to clean sheets so far this campaign. Tottenham travel to Arsenal in what looks to be the headline fixture of the weekend. The London Derby promises to be full of goals with the free-flowing styles of Mikel Arteta and Ange Postecoglou. Arsenal have yet to keep a clean sheet at home this season, whilst Tottenham have scored 9 goals in 3 games on the road. Expect a blockbuster classic. Goal scorer odds. Haaland vs Nottingham Forest at home. Salah vs West Ham are Anfield, and Rashford away at Burnley. All have the highest goal scoring odds. Chances of scoring 2+ goals. Man City have scored 6 goals into home matches so far this season, while Nottingham have conceded 8 goals in their last 5 away matches. This is a great opportunity to jump on the Julian Alvarez bandwagon. Brighton have produced the most shots on target 44 and scored the most goals 15 so far this season. Bournemouth have conceded 5 goals in 2 away matches so far this season. This is a very good fixture for Mitoma and Estupiñán. Liverpool have scored 11 goals in their last 4 league matches. West Ham allowed the 2nd most big chances, conceded 15 and shots on target 30 for so far this season despite their impressive start. Salah should be a popular alternative captain pick this week. Tottenham have scored more goals in each of the first 5 game weeks of the season. Brighton have scored 3+ goals in 4 of the first 5 game weeks. They rank first for goals scored and shots on target, second for big chances and third for expected goals. The question here is who to pick from their attack, as most of them are rotation risks. Everton have failed to score in 4 of the first 5 game weeks, despite their tough schedule in the start of the season. Newcastle have allowed the least big chances. 4 of their next 5 fixtures rank 2 out of 5 in the FDR. Surely it's time to invest in their defense. Arsenal have kept 2 clean sheets so far this season, both of them away from home. They have kept only 2 home clean sheets in their last 16 matches at the Emirates. Man City have by far the best defensive numbers, but they have failed to keep a clean sheet in each of the last 3 game weeks, frustrating as they concede 1 goal each time. Mo Salah has an impressive record versus West Ham, 9 goals in 12 matches, but he has failed to score against them in the last 2 seasons. Son has 2 goals and 1 assist in his last 4 meetings with Arsenal. Haaland had 6 big chances in game week 5 alone versus West Ham, almost as many as he had in the previous 4 game weeks. He is Alo's top for FPL points, shots, expects goals involvement and expected goals. Pedro Neto has created 17 chances for big chances, which led to 4 assists. All came in the last 3 game weeks. He is only behind Mo Salah to 0.37 and Fernandes to 0.08 in expected assist stats. He faces Luton away next. Alvarez has created 16 chances, only 1 big chance and assisted 5 goals. That's no surprise when you play with the likes of Haaland. Only 4 players return more FPL points than Eduard, 32. He has fired 19 shots inside the box, 9 were on target. He faces Fulham home next. Pedro Neto, Wolves £5.5 million. Only Julian Alvarez 5 has more assists than the 4 provided by Pedro Neto among all players so far, with the Wolves winger delivering the most key passes in the league for the opening 5 fixtures, through a total of 17 chances created, as well as attempting 10 shots on goal. He has been quietly going under the radar until this stage, but he should represent great value for the next few game weeks, including this one as he faces Luton Town before 2 back-to-back ties at home. Rasmus Højlund, Manchester United £7 million. The statistics may not be there yet, but the eye test is very promising in case you tend to follow your gut, based on his performance last week against Brighton, during which he was very unlucky to have a goal ruled out by VAR. He has still opened his account of goals for United in the Champions League against Bayern Munich, and should score a few more in the upcoming fixtures, with United being presented a kind run of games, including 2 home matches preceded by a trip to come against Burnley, a side that conceded the highest number of goals thus far. Odsonne Edouard, Crystal Palace £5.6 million. Erling Haaland is the only player in the league who has found the net more times, 7 than the Crystal Palace forward to date, with the latter doing so on 4 occasions. Edouard has attempted up to 20 shots and created 5 chances until this stage, being one of the most active players for the Eagles up front and the most popular target for the opportunities developed by the more creative players. He is one of the best budget picks at the moment, and facing Fulham this game week should provide him with a decent potential. Haaland at home next to Nottingham Forest. Apart from assists, he leads forwards in every single attacking metric. Just captain him. Alvarez. If Haaland hadn't been built in a lab, Alvarez would lead this Man City team. He has already built an incredible understanding with Haaland and has notched up 5 assists already. A worthy option if you don't fancy the big Norwegian. Salah, one of the FPL greats and has an attacking return in every single game so far this season. This includes 2 assists last game week. The Egyptian winger has become very much a creative threat. West Ham next at home, who have so far conceded 101 shots on goal, second highest in the league. Now let's head to team by team predicted lineups.